the whole no carbs before Marb thing, obviously, is just really funny. But the fact that that's become a joke is because it is so normal to literally just say, right, I'm going to go on a high protein, no carb diet before holiday because I want to cut weight and make my body have appear, you know, less bloated, less watery, which what carbs do. And so I guess, from what I found, I guess, talking to some of the guys who've been taking it and going on the Reddit forums and speaking to the experts as well, is that now I think what's happening is that we're being pushed, or what's been normalized is such a kind of muscular, kind of freakishly big, kind of 80s action hero style physique that people will kind of basically say, well, I want to start taking steroids just so I look good on holiday. It's now kind of almost become, we've got past the cutting stage. We've got past, like, you know, lifting weights and not eating carbs. We're going onto even more extremes because that's the only kind of physique that we're really witnessing in most of our media.
It sounds like an eating disorder.
It is an eating disorder. And I think the funny thing is that a lot of these things, I wrote about eating disorders and body dysmorphia for The Guardian, male body dysmorphia, because that's something that I struggled with a lot, again, from doing amateur fighting when I was younger, that I was so obsessive about my diet, again, because I had to cut weight and stuff like that. I was like reading the carbohydrate content of like a red onion and like broccoli. I was like checking the back of how many carbs they have, because I was freaking out about how many carbs I was ingesting, even though obviously, you know, the carbs you're getting from an onion or broccoli are just completely inconsequential to your body. But I think what's happening now is that the things that have been kind of traditionally associated with women for ages, like eating disorders, like body image issues, are now just kind of affecting men. But men are so stoic about it. We kind of just deal with it in a more quiet way, where we're not really kind of openly discussing how it's affecting us. And so it's kind of almost, I guess, a silent problem where we don't want to discuss it openly, but it's still fucking us over, you know, internally, mentally. And so, can I swear on this? Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so it still ends up it actually, I guess, becomes a worse problem because those issues are kind of being bottled up. And so we have, I guess, end up looking for more extreme outlets, like something like steroids.
Well, do you think, I mean, do you think that also because the body that you end up with as a man, if you're doing this cutting and you're injecting, you end up with what would be seen as like a very healthy physique?
Yeah.
So it doesn't appear to be unhealthy.
No, that's exactly it. And that's the kind of, I think, when I spoke to the body dysmorphia kind of clinical therapist, he was saying the paradox of it is that obviously what's happening is that you're outwardly looking more and more healthy. And if anything, your habits to the layman might appear more healthy. You're in the gym more. You're looking after your diet more. You're more obsessive over what goes in your body. And you look better. At the end of the day is that the reason why, like, I would never knock someone taking drugs in any way, shape or form, any recreational drugs, even steroids or whatever they want to do. Because at the end of the day, it's your body and it's your choice if you want to do that. And steroids work. They do really work. Like, obviously, they have massive health risks, long-term and short-term, that can affect your body just as any other kind of recreational drug can. And so if you're doing your research and you're aware of those, then, and you're taking them safely, which also does take a massive amount of knowledge and research to do, then fine. But it's the same way as, like, you know, if I want to safely take heroin, I guess you can, but heroin's kind of scary. So
well, I guess it's like GB, yeah.
Where it's like
sort of like the more obvious example, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you've got to know the dose is exactly right, otherwise you'll shit yourself and pass out. And it's like
or die.
Or die.
Talk to me about the sort of, in the eating disorder vein. Yeah. Where is the pressure for this coming from? I know that the sort of the obvious example is social media, but it's deeper than that, isn't it? Because it seems to be, I'm going to posit something, and you can tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
It feels like the pressure is coming from other men.
Yeah, and I think the funny thing is about steroids, I guess, or the kind of extreme... Oh.
Carry on.
Is that still really hot?
Yeah, it's really hot.
The funny thing is about this kind of extreme end of bodybuilding and gym attending, kind of, you know, basically weightlifting, is that I guess you could probably clarify better than me, but like most women don't really find kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger in his like prime bodybuilding, kind of freakishly big type muscly physiques that attractive. I think most women kind of find, you know, like Tony Soprano, like a guy who looks like he goes to the gym like 2 or 3 times a week, but also
women love
drinks.
Tony Soprano.
Yeah, so I mean, there's basically
I love Tony Soprano.
dad bod that kind of works out but still drinks beer. Like that's the kind of thing that most people find attractive, because most people don't really go for extremes. And I think those kind of physiques that you end up getting are spurred on because it's a competition. It becomes a male rivalry where you're comparing yourself to other men in the gym. You're comparing yourself. That guy's shoulders look way bigger than mine, so I need to do more shoulder, military presses or whatever. Or that guy's abs look better. I mean, obviously abs is the main one. You're always comparing your abs to other guys and how much more shredded they are. Oh, that guy's abs look good. I need to like cut more weight, or I need to do more sit-ups. And so the eating disorder thing, I think, it's not necessarily from other men, but I think what it is that there is a proliferation of really bad diet advice from kind of pseudo, I guess, nutritionists, but they're not really nutritionists, because I think what happens is a lot of fitness influencers are essentially PTs, or they might not even be PTs. They might have gone on their own personal weight loss journey, for example, and suddenly that becomes inspiration enough for many men to follow them, and then suddenly they're giving out advice as if they're like an expert. When really most PTs, like I actually qualified as a PT, I've got no nutritional like background. I've got no, other than I know what works for myself. I've got no real right to give someone like medical advice on their nutrition.
I do find it interesting how at least once or twice a week there is a viral post that will be something on the lines of women only want a certain type of body.
Yeah.
There was a poll that was going around that went viral. I mean, it had like 500,000 retweets on it or whatever. I don't know how much of that is manufactured now, but and the polling was, women, what body do you prefer? And it was like a bodybuilder body or a dad bod. And overwhelmingly, it said the results were dad bod. And the number of men I kept seeing being retweeting it onto my timeline, because you can't control your timeline anymore, was women love lying, and why are these women lying?
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it, how impenetrable that that misunderstanding is?
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think, like I was saying before, that the things that the way that men kind of have this tunnel vision, and the way that men basically are kind of that impenetrable kind of outer dome of their brain, when they're focused on something, when they believe in something, is really hard to get through, because it's almost like every time you say something contrary to it, like for example, my mum kind of like nagging me about how I obviously had like a body dysmorphia and eating disorder. It almost strengthened my resilience, because I was like, oh, well, you would say that. You are complaining about me. Oh God, like you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, of course you're lying about that. What? Yeah, that makes me even more determined to get a muscly body, because it's like, I don't know, it's like a weird spurring on where every time someone proves, it's like almost like you're being proved wrong. And so you want to prove yourself right. And so that's the kind of psychology behind it. That's the only way I can really describe it, because that's how I felt at the time, where it's like every time someone says I'm doing something wrong, or tries to disprove what I'm doing on my journey, my personal journey of, bodybuilding or fitness or whatever it is, it kind of spurs me on to be like, well, I'm going to prove you right. I'm going to be the only one that proves you right. I'm the only, like, you guys are all sheep. I'm the alpha. I'm going to be the one on my own that's going to prove you.
You've been watching a clip of the PoliticsJOE podcast. If you'd like to watch the rest of the episode, head to our Patreon, patreon.com/PoliticsJOE. It's the only place you can watch full podcast episodes. From £4 a month, you get access to that video podcast, as well as the group chat and first access to live event tickets. The first of those live events is next month. It's sold out in 4 minutes. Zoom! Was that the klaxon?
Yeah, it's half-arsed, wasn't it?
Yeah. Live event klaxon, please, Sean.
Was that it?
Well, my voice is gone from the weekend as well, so it's not really projecting as well as it could.
We are really looking forward to seeing all of you having a beer and a bit of a chit-chat. 1,080 of you have generously chosen to support us on Patreon so far. Become Patreon number 1,081. Head to PoliticsJOE.com. Head to patreon.com/PoliticsJOE. I'm making a right old meal of this. Or the pod is free to listen to still on all audio platforms. Thank you.